Welcome to a deep dive into a nation often seen through the lens of its stunning beaches, ancient rainforests, or, well, its significant role in global commodities. But today we're unpacking Malaysia. It's a country that, much like the cunning cancel, the mouse deer of its folklore, it navigates complex global dynamics, not through brute force, but really through intelligence, adaptability, and this remarkable knack for leveraging its unique strengths.
That's right. Malaysia is a truly dynamic nation, strategically situated right at the crossroads of Southeast Asia. It's a fascinating example of how a middle-income country leverages its distinct assets, to achieve maybe outsized global influence. There's certainly more to its story than meets the eye.
Indeed. And it's that hidden depth we're really digging into today. Our mission is to unpack Malaysia's multifaceted contributions to the global landscape, moving beyond those simplistic narratives. We'll explore its incredible natural and human resources, its vibrant cultural tapestry, and its burgeoning ecosystem of innovative ideas and policies. Our sources for this deep dive include extensive academic research, empirical data, and various policy documents. And you'll hear about some compelling paradoxes. How a nation known for its beautiful landscapes is also a high-tech manufacturing hub, how colonial legacies still shape its modern identity, and how it transforms what might seem like disadvantages into unique strengths on the world stage. Let's begin by exploring Malaysia's resourceful legacy, starting with its historical economic backbone. For a long time, tin was absolutely central, making up a significant portion of its early GDP. Now, while that output dramatically declined after the 1970s depletion, changing band is remarkable how Malaysia still remains a major global supplier. Then there was rubber. Rubber. Yeah, this was the main export earner in the early 20th century. It reached a point where its production even exceeded the rest of the world combined. And this labor-intensive industry led to massive inflows of foreign labor, primarily from India, fundamentally altering the country's demographic landscape.
It's astonishing, really. That early rubber trade wasn't just about economic growth. It fundamentally engineered what sources describe as a racialized system of labor and land ownership. And this wasn't a temporary thing. Even decades after independence, racial and ethnic identities remain explicitly prevalent in Malaysia's politics, education, economic domains. We see this historical stratification continuing to manifest in policies and economic imbalances, which really challenges any simple narrative of unity and diversity. It's much more complex.
Mhm. And as we shift to modern resources, petroleum and natural gas are now Malaysia's most valuable mineral assets. They account for a major portion of its commodity export earnings, primarily from offshore fields. Malaysia is actually self-sufficient in energy production, and its gas industry alone contributed, a full one-fifth of the nation's GDP over the past decade?
That's huge.
Yeah, funding essential public services and creating jobs. Malaysia is a major global LNG exporter. And historically, oil revenues have allowed for lower personal taxes and subsidized essential goods, which is a powerful economic lever.
Right. But stepping back for a moment, you can see a sophisticated evolution in Malaysia's fiscal policy. Global shifts like growing environmental concerns, volatile oil prices, and the disproportionate benefit of blanket subsidies have really pushed Malaysia to initiate robust subsidy reforms. Just last month, actually, a targeted diesel subsidy framework was introduced.
Right, I saw that.
Yeah, aiming to save billions annually. These funds are slated to be redirected to national development, reflecting a strong commitment to fiscal responsibility and a more nuanced approach to social welfare. It's a tough but necessary balancing act, trying to ensure resources benefit everyone more equitably.
Definitely. And then we get to what's often called the palm oil paradox. Economically, palm oil is huge. I mean, it accounts for over one-third of global vegetable oil consumption.
A massive amount.
Exactly. Indonesia and Malaysia collectively produce 85% of the global supply, with Malaysia contributing a substantial chunk, nearly 20 million metric tons last year. This industry is projected to contribute over USD 20 billion in export revenue this year, about 3% of GDP, and it sustains over 1 million livelihoods, including hundreds of thousands of smallholders. Malaysia has even developed advanced value-added processing, producing everything from biodiesel to specialty chemicals.
So, okay, given these immense economic benefits, why does the industry face such intense global scrutiny? Sources state it's inundated with allegations of unsustainable plantation practices and viewed as, quote, environmentally detrimental and socially adverse.
Right, those headlines are everywhere.
Yeah, and these negative perceptions are amplified by anti-palm oil campaigns and, frankly, protectionist trade regulations, particularly from the EU, often perceived as bias masked by non-tariff barriers designed to protect their own domestic vegetable oils. What's intriguing is that Malaysia is compelled not only to enhance its sustainability, but also to engage in sophisticated diplomacy. It really shows how the concept of green is often weaponized in global trade. The articulated policy response is to carefully balance economic benefits, which, align with UN SDG 8 for decent work and economic growth, with environmental and social responsibilities, SDG 15 for life on land. They do this through robust governance and equitable smallholder support. Malaysia even leads in sustainable palm oil certification through MSPO, that's the Malaysian Sustainable Palm Oil Standard, ensuring adherence to strict environmental and social guidelines.
Okay, now let's turn to timber's transformation. This sector faces new challenges, like rising U.S. tariffs set for next year.
25%, right?
Yeah, and stringent EU deforestation regulations, also by next year, mandating stricter traceability. So the industry is pivoting, looking to new markets like India and the Middle East and strengthening sustainability efforts. Analysts are urging a shift from just raw manufacturing, OEM, to original branded goods, OBM, to improve profit margins. But here's the interesting part. On the environmental side, Malaysia actually achieved its goal of planting 100 million trees between 2021 and 2025 ahead of schedule.
Wow, that's impressive.
It is. And they maintain over 54% forest cover. Yet despite these commendable efforts, the timber industry itself has experienced a prolonged downturn. Production volumes declining, business activity contracting for over 2 years straight.
This highlights a striking disconnect, doesn't it? National ecological triumphs coexist with these sectoral economic struggles. Is this downturn a consequence of global shifts, or is it an early side effect of the sustainability measures being implemented? Stricter harvesting limits, compliance costs?
That's the question.
This tension presents a significant challenge for integrated sustainable development. It shows that the path to green isn't always economically smooth, not by a long shot.
Right. Let's conclude this segment by talking about human capital as, well, Malaysia's ultimate resource. Human resources development is crucial for ASEAN, and it's been significantly accelerated by the Fourth Industrial Revolution and, of course, the COVID-19 pandemic. Malaysia views human capital investment as a major strategic development. They rank highly globally and in Asia-Pacific on the Human Capital Index. But despite a low unemployment rate and robust labor force participation, Malaysia still faces an acute shortage in skilled labor and a brain drain.
Which creates what you might call a skills paradox. Something like 620,000 jobs are at high risk of being replaced or becoming obsolete due to automation.
That's a huge number.
It is. While simultaneously 60 emerging roles, 70% of which are in AI and digital fields, are identified, and small and medium enterprises, SMEs, which contribute over half of Malaysia's GDP, still struggle with a digital skills gap. So the challenge isn't just about creating jobs, it's more about transforming the capabilities of its existing human capital. It's like having a full orchestra where half can only play the kazoo while the symphony demands violins. The qualitative mismatch is striking. It demands a significant transformation.
Malaysia is being incredibly proactive, though. They've launched a national study on the impact of AI and digitalization, created the Umahir digital platform for real-time job trend insights, established the Future Skills Talent Council, whose trained workers actually received a 12% higher mean wage.
That's a tangible result.
Exactly. They're also setting up skill universities. Malaysia aims to train 60,000 skilled engineers by 2030 and increase female labor force participation. This truly demonstrates a strategic shift to a demand-driven, agile workforce development model, really trying to prepare its people for the future. So we've explored Malaysia's economic backbone and its incredible natural and human resources. But what about the heart of the nation? Let's now dive into its vibrant culture, which, much like Malaysia's diverse landscape, offers a rich tapestry of tales on the world stage. We have to acknowledge Malaysia's multi-ethnic character and its complexities. These have deep roots in its colonial legacy. The British divide and rule policy created an ethnic division of labor and segregated educational systems. This led to Chinese economic dominance and underrepresentation of minorities.
And it lingers.
It does. Even decades after independence, racial and ethnic identities remain explicitly prevalent in politics, education, economic domains, with Malay and Bumiputera rights maintained. This persistence has made multiculturalism a contested issue, leading to inter-ethnic tension and othering. After the 1969 riots, the new economic policy, or NEP, was introduced, aimed at promoting Malays in all areas, providing preferential treatment. However, it's been criticized for creating inter-ethnic income disparities among Bumiputras and contributing to a serious brain drain.
It's a compelling observation, that link. The brain drain isn't solely economic. It's also driven by perceptions of systemic inequality based on ethnicity. When certain ethnic groups feel advancement is constrained by these policies, well, they often seek more meritocratic environments elsewhere. This implies that truly retaining talent requires addressing these underlying tensions and striving for a more equitable playing field for all citizens, not just for economic reasons, but for national cohesion.
What's truly fascinating, though, is how Malaysia leverages this cultural diversity as a form of soft power hard impact. They strategically use what's been called cancel diplomacy, leveraging their unique identity as a moderate, multicultural, Muslim-majority nation to bridge divides.
Like between the West and the Islamic world.
Exactly, or between China and the U.S. Their cultural influence through arts, education, and especially food is considered a tangible diplomatic asset.
The sophisticated statecraft here is quite impressive, taking internal friction, like multiculturalism, and transforming it into an external diplomatic strength. By showcasing its harmonious fusion culture, Malaysia projects this image of adaptability and openness. It enables it to act as a bridge between disparate global powers, fostering understanding where there might otherwise be division.
That brings us neatly to gastrodiplomacy. Malaysian cuisine, wow. A fusion of Malay, Chinese, Indian, indigenous culinary traditions. It's a mesmerizing representation of its cultural tapestry, and it's actively used to shape global narratives. The global rise of dishes like laksa and rendang signifies the soft power of flavorful fusion.
Absolutely, food is universal.
It is. UNESCO has even recognized Penang and Malacca cuisine as heritage. And Malaysia's iconic breakfast culture, nasi lemak, roti canai, teh tarik, that was inscribed by UNESCO just last year as intangible heritage. Student scholars also play a significant role here as cultural ambassadors. Malaysian students in international exchange programs like those in America often become unofficial cultural ambassadors. Despite initial struggles, with racism and cultural challenges, their experiences help overcome misperceptions and negative stereotypes, strengthening diplomatic ties at a really grassroots level.
It really emphasizes the power of individual experience in shaping international perceptions, proving that effective ambassadors are often simply those who live and learn, sharing their culture authentically.
And we can't overlook Malaysia's leadership in Islamic finance and the halal economy. That further strengthens its soft power, amplifying its influence across Muslim-majority nations and positioning it as this unique bridge between different worlds. Okay, so from the bedrock of its resources and the richness of its culture, let's now explore the crucible of creativity, Malaysia's new ideas for a global future. First up is digital transformation and the semiconductor surge. We mentioned SMEs earlier. Small and medium enterprises. They represent a vast majority of businesses, nearly 40% of GDP. But they face significant hurdles in digital transformation. Things like financial constraints, lack of IT infrastructure, digital skills gaps, cybersecurity issues.
It's a common challenge globally, but particularly acute given their economic weight in Malaysia.
Right. However, digitalization is recognized for enhancing productivity and increasing investment returns.
And a crucial point here is the paradox within the semiconductor industry itself. Despite being a trusted hub for global giants, handling hundreds of billions in annual exports, the sector's direct contribution to Malaysia's own GDP remains disproportionately low, less than 7%.
That seems strange.
It does. Malaysia is absolutely crucial to the global supply chain, handling a significant portion of chip assembly and testing, but it's not fully in control of its own destiny. Local players struggle to gain market access and IP ownership. This isn't a technology or talent issue, mind you. It's more of a structural business challenge. They are indispensable, but not yet independent, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. So to break free from this dependency, Malaysia has a bold strategic plan. They need to focus on end consumer products, building their own branded consumer electronics, electric vehicles, industrial automation solutions, IoT products. This represents a strategic move from merely assembling components, OEM, to developing original brands and intellectual property, OBM. It's like a chef who, after years of preparing ingredients for others, decides to open their own Michelin-starred restaurant.
That's a great analogy.
And the government has a robust semiconductor strategic plan, enhancing incentives, grants, integrating cutting-edge tech like IoT, AI, 5G. The Penang STEM Talent Blueprint, part of the National Semiconductor Strategy, aims to double STEM enrollments, boost university outputs, expand vocational training in STEM, increase female participation, targeting 60,000 skilled engineers by 2030.
And this connects directly back to human capital, which we discussed. Technological advancement isn't just about machines, it's about cultivating human intellect and adaptability. Initiatives like skill universities and Mamire underscore a deep commitment to industry-aligned education, focusing on chip design, embedded systems, AI-driven applications. It shows their understanding that the future lies not just in silicon, but in the gray matter that designs, builds, and applies it.
Definitely. Now, Malaysia has also become a clear leader in pioneering Islamic finance. It has emerged as a global leader, ranking #1 in the Islamic Finance Development Indicator for 11 consecutive years.
11 years, that's remarkable consistency.
It is. In 2023, it was the world's top issuer of sukuk. Those are Sharia-compliant bonds, and ranked third globally in Islamic banking and taxable assets. Islamic banking now accounts for nearly half, 45.6% of the country's total financing. This full rate dates way back to 1963, with key milestones, including the first sukuk issuance and establishing Sharia advisory councils. Both public and private sectors are incredibly proactive. Malaysian banks adopting an Islamic-first strategy, and the first Islamic digital bank established just this year.
The striking thing about this, for me, is the philosophy behind it. Islamic finance, rooted in Sharia principles, emphasizes ethical considerations, socioeconomic justice, morality. It constrains unfair transactions like interest or riba and excessive uncertainty, gharar.
So it's not just about profit.
Exactly. What this means in practice is that money isn't just seeking the highest return. It's guided by ethical principles, promoting fairness, shared risk, essentially putting purpose alongside profit. It offers a compelling alternative to conventional finance, fostering a more sustainable and inclusive economic model by linking financial activities directly to the real economy. This value-based intermediation, or VBI, sets Malaysia's Islamic finance apart. It offers a genuinely new idea for how finance can truly serve society beyond just maximizing profit.
And Malaysia has truly cemented its role as a global standard bearer here. It established international standard-setting bodies like the Islamic Financial Services Board, IFSB, and the International Islamic Liquidity Management Corporation, ILM, both headquartered in Malaysia.
Hosting those bodies is a big deal.
It is. It also created the Centralized Sharia Authorities Forum. Malaysia's strategies aim to sharpen its proposition as a global gateway for Islamic finance markets, exporting not just financial products, but regulatory frameworks, expertise, infrastructure. Okay, next, let's talk about sustainable development, balancing progress with planetary health. Sustainable development has been at the heart of Malaysia's approach since the 1970s, integrated into all subsequent 5-year national development plans. The new economic model in 2009 further cemented commitment based on high income, inclusivity, and sustainability, mirroring the UN SDGs.
That's a long-term commitment.
Absolutely, and they've had success. Malaysia transformed its economy, moving from low income to upper middle income within a generation. GNI per capita expanded nearly 30-fold between 1970 and 2020. Poverty incidence reduced dramatically from nearly 50% in 1970 to less than 1% by 2016. It has also enhanced food production and provides quality, accessible health care for its citizens.
But this raises an important question, doesn't it? Despite this impressive progress, some SDG accomplishments are still considered low, requiring continued technical and financial support. This highlights the conundrum of driving economic progress as an upper-middle-income country striving for high-income status without compromising environmental integrity. It's a delicate balancing act, requires continuous recalibration, significant investment, a challenge many developing nations grapple with.
True, but there are tangible examples of progress. We mentioned the 100 million trees planted ahead of schedule, the bold subsidy reforms for fiscal responsibility, the Malaysian Green Technology Financial Scheme initiated back in 2010, demonstrating that green initiatives can be profitable. You see case studies like the Frangipani Hotel's circular economy, localized solutions converting household waste to vermicompost. It shows innovation at every level. Multi-stakeholder governance through the National SDG Council demonstrates a real whole-of-nation approach. Finally, let's discuss policy innovation and global recognition, exporting governance models. Malaysia has undergone a significant structural transformation, evolving from a primary commodity-based economy to a diversified manufacturing and services economy, driven by innovation prioritized in successive national plans. The National Innovation System and the 10-10 MISTI framework strengthen science, technology, and innovation governance, promoting innovation. Malaysia also aims to be a leading academic hub in Southeast Asia, leveraging renowned universities, diverse programs, its strategic location. Initiatives like the Digital Maker Movement and skill universities are transforming teaching through technology.
What's intriguing here, I think, is that Malaysia's unique policy approaches offer valuable lessons for other developing nations. Its success in reducing absolute poverty from nearly 50% in 1970 to less than 1% decades later, all within a multi-ethnic setting, provides a compelling case study. This demonstrates Malaysia's potential to export governance models and policy frameworks, offering practical blueprints for other nations grappling with similar socioeconomic challenges.
This signifies Malaysia's maturation, doesn't it? Moving beyond merely economic metrics to an intellectual leadership and sharing innovative solutions for societal well-being. It's a profound shift, positioning Malaysia not just as a participant in the global economy, but perhaps as a thought leader. So as we wrap up this deep dive, it's clear that Malaysia, much like its folkloric cancel, has proven to be an astonishingly resourceful and adaptable nation, navigating the dense jungle of global economics and geopolitics with this blend of shrewdness, charm, and surprising innovation. Its offer to the world is far more nuanced than just a simple tally of natural resources. It represents a dynamic model of adaptive governance, economic diversification, and cultural diplomacy.
And we've seen how this journey is filled with these core paradoxes and strengths: the tension between commodity dependence and diversification, the ongoing struggle to balance economic imperatives with environmental stewardship, like in the palm oil sector. There's the persistent challenge of forging a cohesive national identity from such diverse tapestry, profoundly shaped by the legacy of rubber. And the skills paradox in human capital development coexisting with these proactive investments in future-proofing its people. It's quite the mix.
Yet Malaysia consistently transforms its internal complexity into external diplomatic strength through that canceled diplomacy. Leveraging its multiculturalism, its vibrant gastronomy, its educational exchanges, its ambition to leapfrog from an assembly hub to an innovation powerhouse in semiconductors, and its pioneering role in Islamic finance, these offer compelling models for ethical and inclusive economic growth.
The larger takeaway here, I believe, is that Malaysia's long-standing commitment to sustainable development and its unique policy innovations, from targeted subsidies to social enterprise initiatives, really stand out as valuable governance models for other developing nations. They offer real-world examples.
So here's a final thought for you, the listener. What can you learn from Malaysia's journey in integrating such diverse assets, its resources, its culture, its innovation, to create such a distinct value proposition? In a world of increasing complexity and fragmentation, Malaysia's approach of strategic national positioning, well, it may be exactly what's needed. It's not just a participant in the global economy, but a fascinating, imperfect, and highly relevant laboratory for the 21st century.